We are delighted to welcome all our members today, including those from outside the UK, which is wonderful. Our annual members conference is slightly different this year. We're hosting it online, but we hope to be back face to face with you next year. So keep watching those emails and our Facebook groups. Before we start, I'd like to do a couple of introductions, a little bit of housekeeping, and also share with you some exciting developments that you'll be hearing more about today. Today's conference is hosted by IIH UK, your national charity for people with IIH. IIH UK is entirely run by volunteers, and our wonderful team, we cannot thank you enough. We cannot run events such as this without the hard work of our fundraisers as well, and we'd like to give you all a thank you. We know that COVID has affected people's ability to fundraise, and we do really appreciate the fact that many of you are still out there raising money for IIH UK. As a charity, we have been hit by COVID, but not as hard as other charities that we hear about in the news. All our volunteers are either people with IIH or parents or carers. And because we work from home, this has helped to keep our costs down. So some little introductions. I'm Amanda Denton. I'm one of your 4 trustees, and I'm also one of your research representatives. Behind the scenes today, we have Shelley Williamson, who is our chair of IIH UK, and she is going to be looking after all the technical queries, after all the technical side. We also have Claire Parr and Norma Dan, who are in the background and working on the chat facilities. They're also trustees, but they're also today working in the background. A little Zoom housekeeping. I'd like to draw your attention to some functions on the bottom of the screen for a chat and question and answer function. Please use the chat facility for any generic questions that you have about IIH UK, or if you're having any technical queries. Claire and Norma are doing an amazing job as ever by monitoring these. If you want to ask a question of your speakers within the sessions, please put the question in the chat, in the question and answer facility, and we will be answering questions from there. If any questions accidentally end up in the chat facility, Claire will be transferring them over. Your feedback is really important to us, and we'll be sending you a link to a SurveyMonkey form to complete. If you're able to do this today while it's fresh in your memory, that would be most appreciated. Your feedback helps us plan future events. For another few minutes, just before we get started, I want to share with you some wonderful things that we are doing with your fees and your fundraising efforts at IIH UK. We've got a very exciting development, is a new website coming through. Our website's been in existence for a long time and very much needed an update. This has been quite a journey for IIH UK, and we're delighted to say that it's coming to its end. We have a new, easier to search website that will be launched in the very near future, with sections for people with IIH, carers and parents, and professionals. There's an expanded new research area, and the shop and our membership has been integrated into the website. So watch this space, it's coming soon. Your fees and fundraisers also fund vital research into IIH. I'm only going to give 1 or 2 examples, such as the IIH Life Registry, which is providing longitudinal data about people with IIH over the long term. It also funds the open access of published materials, so that IIH deserves, is given a place on the wider open access on the internet so people can easily find research. We've also started a webinar series. With COVID, having face-to-face events has been challenging. We ran a successful webinar on latest research in IIH, and we're joined by a variety of experts in the area. And Mel Fisher, who is speaking after me, will be announcing something that is coming up. So I won't ruin it for Mel. I will allow her to talk about that in the next speech. We've also run a number of IIH UK surveys. one of which, on obesity stigma, you'll be hearing about later on in the day. We have the wonderful Gabriella from Hope talking today about a new exciting collaboration between IIH UK and Hope for the Community. This is going to be a new support programme. I won't take Gabriella's thunder, I will leave it to her, but there is a new email associated with this called hope@iih.org.uk. We've also been hard at work in the background because we know how important getting evidence-based information out to people, healthcare professionals in the community is to our members. We've recently developed a new information pack which contains the latest guidelines, evidence-based treatment. It contains information leaflets, but it also contains information about IIH UK that we want doctors and other healthcare professionals to put in their clinic, so that the information for people with IIH and support is much wider and much more consistent across the United Kingdom. We'll be sending these out to healthcare professionals across the UK. And if you do have a healthcare professional that you feel would need to be included on this, please do contact us via the info@IIH UK email. We've also worked on a collaboration with Nick Hardman at the 3D Toy Shop. Trying to explain to someone what a shunt is can be quite challenging. And Nick has developed in IIH colours a shunt valve which can be attached to the outside of a teddy bear. These are twofold, so that people can explain to people what their shunt is, what it looks like, where in their head is. Somebody could have this at home and attached to a teddy bear. But for every shunt that is purchased from the IIH UK shop, we will donate one to the NHS to help facilitate demonstration to children, parents with IIH, and also for adults as well. So please do purchase those. Don't forget, any questions for speakers, although I've just had a message to say that the question and answer function isn't working. So please do use the chat facility for any questions, and we will forward those onto our speakers. And any technical questions, please do use the chat function. So we're just going to take a few minutes break before we start with Mel at 9:45. So if you have any technical queries in the interim, please do contact us on the chat facility. Okay. So in the first sessions today, we have coming up very shortly is Mel Fisher, developing a positive culture in people with IIH through art. Then we have Dr. Pooja Harijan joining us to talk about idiopathic intracranial hypertension, improving diagnosis and management in children. And then we have Gabriella Matuskova talking about the Live Well with Hope programme for people with IIH. I'm just going quiet for a minute while I just check messages just to see if there's anything that people need me to bring up. Okay, fine. So we're just going to go quiet for a couple of minutes until we start with Mel at 9:45.